My girlfriend, 21 female, asked me, 22 male, if she can have, with another guy in exchange of good amount of money. Hello there, folks. I, 22 male, met my girlfriend, 21 female, on social media, and we've been talking for a year. Because we live in separate places, we hadn't seen each other in person until the previous month. We've had 3 more meetings after our initial IRL encounter, so I feel we both want to spend as much time as possible with one another. To clarify, she was my first girlfriend, and I was a virgin until I met her. I genuinely like her. I am amazed by her figure every time I see her. I feel our chemistry as a relationship is fantastic. I have not experienced classic signs of love, such as rapid heartbeat or stomach discomfort due to lovesickness, yet I want to be near to her whenever possible. We text a lot while we aren't together in person. She doesn't have many friends, thus I believe I am both her boyfriend and her best friend. She is really calm with telling me whatever she is thinking at the time. She never hesitates to speak about what is on her mind. I'm also a very open person when it comes to discussing any topic. 2 days ago, as we were talking, she asked me a question. Hey, sweetie, do you think I should sell myself for a few grand? Is that enough money for? Should I take this offer as an insult and decline it? She is someone who enjoys kidding around, so I assumed she was simply asking me one of her hypothetical questions. But it turned out that the offer was genuine. I asked her whether there was someone present who had made her an offer, and she said, yes, there is a man who is really smitten with her. I inquired what she said to the person, and she replied she hadn't given a response yet, that she was still thinking about it, and that a few grand for a brief intercourse isn't a horrible deal. I told her that I was astonished by her thought of selling her body and that I felt like her pimp rather than her lover. She explained to me that we are not fixing a price for her body, but rather analyzing the guy's offer. I told her that there is no set price for a woman to sell her body. It depends on a variety of factors such as her income, socio-cultural background, moral codes, people around her, other sources of income for women, and so on. I also mentioned that there are women who do prostitution for very little money and others whose bodies cannot be purchased with money. I also said that I would not engage in prostitution in return for a couple of grandchildren. After I told her all of this, she claimed that the offer was for the following day and asked if I would break up with her if she accepted the offer. I was taken aback by the whole chat and told her that I didn't know if she was mocking me or not. She claimed that she is serious about the problem. I emphasized that I do not want her to sell her body for a few thousand, and that if she accepts the offer, we will end our relationship. We were messaging during her night shift, so she couldn't write me back about the entire thing. She sent me healthy, love-filled texts and said she would write me down once she woke up about what we had discussed, but she didn't write me anything until late last night. I think she was high on drugs or drink, so she simply asked me a speculative question about theology. What do you believe I need to do? I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship with a prostitute. I'm not sure whether she conducted prostitution yesterday, but the fact that prostitution sounded conceivable to my girlfriend is something that has been bothering me. Story 2. Girlfriend cheated on me on Christmas. For context, before I met her, I was different. I used to go out with my mates all the time and do several things against my religion and against my parents' will, and I used to mess about with girls, but when I met her online we got serious really quickly and I wanted to see her. I felt like I could trust her, even thought I had bad experiences with my first girl, which I think affected me. I told her everything I had done in the past and I asked her to consider to do the same, so if it came up in the future I wouldn't judge her, but she said she's never even seen another man's, and that she's a complete virgin, and she's never sent nudes. So fast forward to our first fight, because she follows random guys and likes their photos, and I find out she did talk to guys, which she lied about not doing, and then the next time we argued I found out she used to have guys on socials, and that she was still following and liking their pics. Fast forward to our latest fight, which happened yesterday at Christmas. She finally gave me her Snap password. I didn't ask her, she just felt she was ready, and when I went on Snap I added back the boys she removed through the add function, and I found out ever since me and her started talking, she had in fact been talking to another guy and sending him nudes and stuff like that. I questioned her, and she lied, saying they were only bra pics. When I saw them when I showed her, she admitted it, and I found out she's had several boyfriends, and she's also sucked a guy off several times, but the thing that hurt most was that she was talking to this other guy the whole time, and I thought she would be the one who would bring me closer to my religion and complete my life. What to do? I'm confused. She seemed so innocent, and this just happened on Christmas, but I haven't slept for a full 24 hours. What to do? Also, we were dating for 14 months, and it was my birthday on January 8th. I wanted to see her on the 7th and propose to her, but I feel like I've been taken for a fool. Story 3. Male 24 broke up with ex after 4 years. I began a relationship with a female in the start of my undergraduate career about 5 years ago. We were both 19 years old at the time. The first 2 years were mediocre. There were certain contrasts between us, especially in our financial situations and our outlook on life. We weren't the greatest fit, but we made it work because I opted to make her happy and do the things she desired, since I saw myself as the odd one in that relationship. I come from a family that battled with money throughout my university years, but she came from a family that didn't. Things had changed because I had a position in a well-paying field for the previous years, and she was struggling with her profession. Because of my financial circumstances, I was always the one who was focused on having a better profession and overcoming my predicament, while she was more concerned with having fun, traveling, getting the nicest things, etc. That caused some problems on my end, since I'm not that sort of person. I don't love holidays and travel as much as she does, since I have other interests. We spoke about my outlook on life, but in the end she understood that I am not that sort of person and began to live a very simple life. I essentially lost everyone once the outbreak began. There were no friends, since my pals were largely females, like 10-12-year-old friendships, and no other hobbies that did not include her. Basically, we were living our lives together non-stop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For the past 2 years, we live in the same flat. During this period, our condition deteriorated since I began to dislike doing things with her. We had several arguments, lengthy discussions about how I am and my lack of happiness, multiple discussions about whether or not we should split up, and the list goes on. I stopped initiating relations with her approximately a year ago, and we didn't even kiss or say anything kind to one another for about 4-5 months. We even got into an actual fight once. I essentially rejected her in every manner I could. I stopped accompanying her to parks and other public places. I merely went to do simple things like go shopping. Growing up with someone for such a long period made it difficult to break up, but I did it in the end, and it was dreadful. My problem is that I now feel bad for doing it, since I was the only one left in her life. Now I am completely alone, with just my parents and a distant job to keep me occupied. It kills me on the inside to know that she still claims to love me after 2 years of continuous fights and arguing. I would say that in the last year we argued at least twice a week and had weekly endless talks about the same thing. Us and how we should break up. No actions, kissing, or I love you. I practically quit loving her, and I don't feel the desire for a hug or to visit her right now. Basically, I've lived in the same unhappiness for so long that I no longer feel anything. How should I deal with my guilt? I've always been an emotional kind of guy. Never date someone without thinking about having a life with them. Now that I've spent almost 1/5 of my life with her, I can't do anything without feeling guilty. Is it possible that I damaged her life? Is it possible that I'm damaging my life? For the purpose of keeping her happy, even when I'm not, every night, I lie awake thinking about how I'm going to hurt her no matter how I conduct my life from now on. Happy or sad, she will find out how I am doing one way or another, and the fact that she will feel horrible about me makes me feel like I don't want to live anymore. Do you have any thoughts on my tragic love story? Sorry for the lengthy writing, but this is the first time I've let something go. I've never told anybody how I felt, and I'm afraid I won't be able to endure another day thinking about how horrible I and she are going to feel.